Hi, I'm Dr. Melody Hilton. Thank you so much for joining the StopDevaluation's My Story. And tonight I have the amazing honor of introducing Alexandria Stevens. She's an actress, a voiceover artist, an acting and life coach, author, and a public speaker. Welcome, Alexandria.
Well, thank you so much, Melody.
May I call you Alex?
Absolutely.
Okay. Every person has faced some form of abuse of power. A
Yes.
major disappointment, rejections, betrayals. We've even all faced our own personal failures, just like me. And so life has just not been fair for anybody on the planet. And so, Alex, would you be willing to share some events or life experiences that caused you to feel devalued or dehumanized, or even feelings that you were just not good enough?
Absolutely. I have a couple of things I'd like to talk about. The first one was my mother, about from the age of 5 years old, my mother just became very verbally abusive. And I always say verbally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because it was an attack on my self-confidence, my feelings that I was able to accomplish anything. I was told many times that, I would never make it in the real world. It was pretty rough.
Aw.
And as I went into high school, I came from a different school, so I was the new kid. Nobody knew me, and I think that sort of gives you the marker for the cliques. Like, oh, here's the new kid. Let's play with this person. Let's bully this person because we don't know them.
Yeah.
So I kind of faced 4 years of that. I was kind of a smart kid, so they called me computer. It sounds funny now, and I had this square purse, and they called that my battery pack. They used it as a tool to ostracize me. I was not involved or welcomed into any of the groups or anything like that, and pretty much just alone through high school. One of the examples I always try to share with people is the day I decided maybe it's me, maybe I'm not friendly enough. And there was a table of about 12 cool kids sitting in the library, and I thought, I'll go over and I'll be super friendly and sit down. And I did, and I said hi, and everybody kind of looked at each other and then just sort of put their noses in the air, got up at the same time, and walked away. So here I am at this table all by myself, and that was like, wow, that was tough. Especially as a teenager, that sort of thing is just devastating.
Alex, we really need human connection to be emotionally healthy. And here
Yes.
you were alienated and ostracized. And so sometimes we look at ourselves and say, okay, what's wrong with me?
Exactly. And the thing of it is I had that in school. Then I would come home to my mom, who was equally, destructive regarding my self-confidence. And so it was, 24 hours a day almost for me.
Wow.
Another quick thing I just wanted to mention, and because I want people who feel this way to understand, in my 20s, I just always saw myself in high school as this ugly girl, this nerdy, ugly girl. That was my memory. And in my 30s or 40s, I did a lot of work to get to the place I'm at now. And I look back on my pictures in high school.
Yeah.
I was cute as a button.
We sound like we have the same story on that one.
For any of you out there who are younger that think you're ugly, you are not ugly.
That's
You're beautiful.
right.
We are sometimes told that by other people, and we believe them, and it's not true.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my brothers used to tell me I was fat, flat, and ugly, and I believed them. And it was years and years and years before I realized all those things were just brothers being brothers. Now, as you did, I look back in pictures, I'm going, what was I thinking? I was not ugly.
Unfortunately, especially when we're teenagers and young in our 20s, we believe other people before we even believe the mirror.
Yes.
So stop doing that and look at yourself for real and know that you are beautiful. That would be my message.
Were there ever any individuals that you had in your life that just saw value in you and they made an impact that began to change the way you viewed yourself?
Absolutely. The number one biggest person, her name was Marie, and she was in her 60s. And I had been going to this New Age bookstore because I was enjoying, the content. And I just really wanted to work there because the positive energy was so great. I have to make clear that I'm in my 20s and I am a mouse. I have no self-confidence. I was afraid to talk on the telephone. I just was not the person I am today. Just afraid of everything. And so I went to the store, and there she was stocking books, and it took every bit of gumption in me. And I, in this little tiny voice, I said, "Are you hiring?"
Aww.
I mean, I remember it. And I wanted so badly to work there. And she looked at me, and she hesitated, and she said, "You're hired."
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. And she hired me on the spot. She didn't even ask me one question. So, but my story is much better than that. It goes on because it was the dawn of computers at the time. And I had not done computers at school or anywhere. And she had a computer. And I was petrified of it. And one of the other clerks was trying to teach me to use it, and she was very quick, and it seemed like there were 100 things I had to do, and I just was overwhelmed. So that night I talked to Marie, and I said, I think you have to let me go because, and I was crying,
Aww.
I cannot work the computer. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. And I just love this woman. She said, no, you don't have to use the computer. It's okay. So, okay, I was relieved. Well, the next day she called me over, and she's working on the computer, and she said, look, I've got to, make a quick phone call. Can you just put in this number and hit enter? That's all you have to do. Oh, okay. So I did that. Well, every day she gave me more and more. And before you knew it, I was proficient on the computer.
Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't it?
When there is a person that sees value in you and makes investment into you in a validating, honoring, celebratory way, it begins to heal us from the inside out.
Oh, she healed me completely. And that was the beginning of me having self-confidence, feeling good about myself, moving forward. I was doing some therapy that helped me tremendously at the time. I mean, I always think of her like my mother.
Aww.
I just can't, when I look back on it, I think, how amazing was she?
Aww.
And she was filled with love and, hugs, and she just changed my life.
That is so beautiful because we don't realize how our lives can impact the lives of others. And
right.
How we treat them and how we value them can so impact not just their future, but help heal them of their past.
Exactly.
And no longer do they have to be defined by abusive relationships or difficult experiences or bullying, but they can be defined by who they really are as a valuable human being.
Exactly. And, the freedom, because you're so weighed down, especially when you're young, by all these criticisms and being ostracized and stuff, you don't even know what you're capable of.
Correct. It locks up the treasure inside of us.
Yes.
And
yes.
Validation has the ability to begin to unlock that and say, look what you carry. Look what you bring to the table. And really, Alex, you are that. You've become that in your life. So would you please tell us how you are generating value in your world, what your contribution is to others, and the different things that you are doing to help bring validation to others who maybe feel that they're not good enough?
Absolutely. I went to college to be a life coach. And so my big thing in life coaching is building self-confidence, freeing people from fear of taking risks, being in a safe place, understanding that it's not the end of the world if you make a mistake. And I don't call them mistakes. I call them learning. You do
there
something
you go.
wrong, you just learned something. You're not making mistakes. You're learning. So that's huge for me. And as an acting teacher, because there's a lot of, acting is very hard on a person's spirit because of all the rejection and criticism constantly. So as a teacher, I am just there constantly building their self-confidence, telling them that certain things just don't matter. You create what you create, and it's perfect and beautiful and original, and if they don't like it, it's okay. That's them. Somebody else down the road will love it.
So how would you communicate to someone in your acting school and they go and they audition and they are treated terribly, they are rejected, they don't get the part, or something that causes them to want to quit?
Right. You just have to understand, and most of the times when you don't get the part, if you have trained and you have prepared, the reason you didn't get the part isn't because you weren't good. It was because you weren't tall enough, thin enough. You didn't have brown eyes. Show business is a very hard business. So you could go to the Yale School of Drama. You're not going to get every part because they have a picture in their head and you don't fit that picture.
Wow.
So I try to make that, it's a very hard thing to get across, but once they get it in their head, there's a lot of peace that comes with that.
That's beautiful. And to have somebody with that experience communicating that to them.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you can see the difference in their face when I tell them this. It's like a boulder rolls off their shoulder. You mean I wasn't bad? I didn't embarrass myself? No, you were probably wonderful, but you just didn't look the part.
Yeah. Tell me some other things that you're doing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wrote a book actually called It's called Power Tools, Ideas You Can Use to Disassemble Fear. And originally I was just sort of writing notes for myself because I was still struggling with my own self-confidence and my own stage fright and all these things. And I built up this little journal, and then I started teaching, and sometimes I would say something and be like, the universe just kind of spoke through me, and I would write it down. Eventually I had such a big pile, I said, heck, I could write a book, and I did. And it's a series of small little chapters, maybe 1 or 2 pages long, and they're all complete unto themselves. So I always encourage people to just think about what's troubling you and open the page and see what it says. And a lot of people I have people who say they carry it with them every day, that they read it every day. So I feel good about it. I'd like to read, because we're talking about bullying and devaluing human beings and things like that, just a few sentences from my book about that.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. And I'll just preface it by saying, bullies make life so difficult for everybody. And some people have been driven to suicide because of bullies.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the thing of it is, and I call them Frankensteins because, in the movie, Frankenstein was wreaking havoc and murdering people, but all he really wanted was to be loved.
Oh, there you go.
Right? But he didn't know how to get it, and so he just destroyed everything in his path. So with that thought in mind, this just comes from my book. Bullies are empty, sad little vessels that are extremely damaged. They need love and support more than most of us, but just don't know how to even begin to get it. A bully suffers greatly and strives to make others feel worse than they do. Understand this, and a bully will never be able to hurt you again.
Wow, that's powerful. Really powerful.
I mean, we don't have to coddle them and hug them and kiss them, but if we can just look at them and say, you are a hurting human being.
Yes.
And I am not going to let your words destroy me.
As you're talking, I think just your perspective of the bully, of saying there's someone that needs love, it literally dismantles their power to affect you. And you rise up with an amazing ability to then in turn impact their life for good.
Well, possibly. But I mean, if you can understand they're hurting so much worse than you and they're actually deserving of pity, they're just little children having a temper tantrum, and you can just say, no, thanks anyway. I'm not going to let that sink into my heart.
There you go. Actually, I've taught in school systems with students, and I've explained that when we speak, when a bully speaks these derogatory words or they do harmful things, harmful actions, basically it feeds back into their own brain and establishes even greater fear-based memory. And what we can do is we can choose to reject those things that are being said and done, and it will not affect us at all. But for the bully, it damages them even more because whatever we say or do feeds back and negatively affects us.
Wow, that is incredible.
And so even you just having the understanding and acknowledging the pain of the bully has the ability to dismantle their power over you, but then also impact them for good.
Hopefully, yes. And I think, most importantly, taking your power back and realize, what are they saying? You're ugly, you're this, you're fat, flat, etc. It's just not true.
Correct.
It's not true, and it's them trying to make you feel worse than they do, and they feel terrible for whatever reason, home life, whatever.
Alex, you really touch my heart because you've taken the pain of your past and you're walking in a purpose, bringing hope to so many, empowering others to succeed, and using your voice, whether it's in book form, whether it's a coach, whether it's in your acting studio. The things that you do are impacting so many lives. And isn't it beautiful to be one who says, I choose to be a solution in the world?
It is. It's a wonderful feeling. And I'll tell you, when I see a student who comes to me with very low self-esteem or confidence, and in 2 or 3 weeks, they're just a whole new human being, or they come to me and they say, and this has happened, and it just brings me to tears, you changed my life.
Yeah.
It's what an honor to be the person who helped another person be happier and stronger. And oh my God, it's just beyond words.
Our words bless or curse. Our words are life or death. Our words are hope or fear. It's so beautiful to be one who makes a decision in their life that no matter the injustice that they experienced, they will be a solution in their world, and they will be a difference maker. And Alex, you are a difference maker.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's a choice. Everybody has that choice.
Thank you so much for joining us on My Story. And truly, it has been an honor to interview you.
Oh, thank you so much, Melody, and an honor to speak with you and to know you.
Well, thank you, everyone, for being a part of this My Story, and recognize no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you've gone through, you hold value, and who you are and what you carry is needed in this world. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.